Welcome to 502 Entrepreneurs, Louisville's podcast featuring local business owners, entrepreneurs, and side hustlers, all who have a story to tell. I'm your host, Carl Armijo, owner and operator of Carl Armijo Photography and Louisville Cleaning Pros. Today's guest is Rob Holtzmann with The Insurance Artist, who shares with us his approach to family, community, and business. Hey, Rob, thanks for joining us here on 502 Entrepreneurs. Super happy to have you here in the studio. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a while, so it's great to have
Carl.
you here.
I tell you, we're going to have a great time. This is going to be a great show. I'm likewise, man. I've watched all your shows, a bit of a groupie, although I'm not a huge podcast guy. I just don't, on a daily basis. I guess most people, when they watch podcasts, are at work or they're in the car or whatever. I have audiobooks that I listen to, but you and I both, I think, a little bit of a news nerdy as well. So I usually have MSNBC. So I don't watch many podcasts, but I watch yours, man.
I listen to podcasts because, in my business, the nature of my business is I'm in the car a lot, right? I'm traveling from house to house to go take listing photos of these things.
Beautiful
I'm in the
photos,
car a
by
lot,
the way.
so I either do podcasts or audiobooks.
Yeah.
And I subscribe to Audible, so I could get audiobooks there. I also subscribe to Spotify, so I could get audiobooks there as well. But they limit my time.
I didn't know that Spotify has audiobooks. I am a dinosaur when it comes to online music listening. Now, don't get me wrong. I love listening to music, all kinds of different musics. It's just fantastic. Just so many different things that you can really get from music. If you're in a rough mood or if you're in a happy mood, you can find your different things. So I shit you not, Carl, I have had for the last 20 plus years Rhapsody, which then turned into Napster.
Right.
But all of my set lists were on there, and I'm like, I can't transfer these things. Well, they finally got into a situation last year where they're changing their business plans.
Changing everything around.
So I ended up at Spotify, and I'm like, oh, my God, what am I missing here?
Spotify is great.
I love it.
Just because it has everything that you want. It's got podcasts. It's got audiobooks. It's got music. And that's mainly what I use. It's fairly affordable.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. The only thing I don't like about it is they limit your audiobook time to like 15 hours a month. So
little known fact, Carl, I did an audiobook.
Oh, yeah.
My mom has always said I have a face made for radio.
She's right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And I mean, take the hint, Rob. So I started, I think it was 6 or 7 years ago. Now, a lot of people have always said, oh, Rob, you've got a great listening voice and a great, I could just listen, and I'm like, all right, yada, yada. So I explored that option of becoming like a voiceover actor.
Yeah.
And honestly, Carl, I had the best time. I went to school. They have a school for this.
Oh, that's
it's
neat.
Like Such a Voice or something or other.
Yeah.
And I'll save everyone thousands of dollars. And lots and lots of extra time just doing this kind of stuff because it's so simple. And I think the reason that, not to perhaps tout or, cause my head to get bigger, but I think the reason is because of the inflection, because of the engagement. And I like to think it's just being genuine. When you're just having a good conversation and you're not thinking about how you're talking, I'm telling you, Carl, it's just the most impactful thing. And so even though on Audible, I have one book that I narrated, of course, I can't remember. It was 5 or 6 years ago, Smallville, something or other. The author was a wonderful lady to work with, and I really enjoyed.
Was it a fiction book or nonfiction?
Yes, fiction.
Did you get to do character voices?
I did. Fun. Now, look, I mean, we talked about that before I started, and I was like, look, I don't think I could do this. Come on.
Right.
But it was really important just going through, you have to highlight all of these different, lines to make sure that you're not using someone else's voice. But it was invaluable training for me because I just was able to settle in to and be comfortable with how I talk. And so as part of our business, The Insurance Artist, we send out a lot of videos where we share screens and we have these conversations. Well, I mean, I'm having a conversation with a TV screen or a computer screen, you know? So it's just when you're genuine and you're just chatting, I think people just really appreciate that. It's even bigger than eye contact. I would argue it's as big as, you know, a lot of people say, hey, it's your body movements when you're talking as to what really is engaging. I think it's this. You've got to be genuine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I mean, people like it when you're a real person.
Yeah.
And being genuine, like, is the best way to do that, you know, to be a real person.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I didn't know you did the audiobook thing. I think that's super cool. I think it's an interesting thing. I think that could be like a pretty cool like side gig if you had time to just do voiceover commercials and things like that. You got all that.
It's a fascinating
You got
world.
the voice for it. But I think the other, you know, place you could, you know, go into it is like sports announcing as a PA announcer. Because I think you got a good voice for that as well. I
think I would really get into that.
You know, my favorite PA announcer, and this is like kind of a weird thing, right? But his name's Alan Roach. He does like when I grew up in Colorado, and so he was the PA announcer at Mile High Stadium for the Denver Broncos.
Nice.
And then at some point, I think, man, when the Broncos went to the Super Bowl in the late '90s. You know, he became the PA announcer for the Super Bowl. And now every year I watch to see if he is still the guy. And he's like seems like he's been doing the Super Bowl for years. Like maybe he misses a year or two here and there. But
it's the quintessential voices that go along with those things that I'm with you, man. I really enjoy that. Growing up a Braves fan, I was a Chip Carey and all of those guys that, you know, those, and it's not, you know, they're not, I think an engaging person, voice, personality, whatever, you know, it doesn't have to be that Barry White-esque, like, you know, hey, let's talk about some insurance.
Even though you can do that.
Right. It's like, oh, really? You know, again, it's just that, you know, some high pitch, low pitch. I think we're in the same referrals group and have been. Is it 5 years now? I think
I
that
joined
you've
in
been as well.
2020, I think, or early 20, November 2020, I think. Is
so you're just a couple months after we officially, you know, became a chapter, and we do a fun roast every year. I remember roasting you.
Yeah, the Navis.
The Navis, and talking about your high squeaky pitched voice, and you're like, "Hey, everybody, let's talk."
Yeah.
But like, I always was able to. You were our secretary treasurer, and you had a meeting once, and I was like, I can remember a lot more about that meeting than most others because it was an engaging connection there. So,
yeah, my voice has always been a little bit, I guess, I don't know, not deep. I don't know how to say it. I don't have that booming. I
was going to chime in, but I was like, oh no, I don't want to offend. Kind of thing, but it's you know, less about that, and
I'm not too worried about it.
It's about like, you know, your inflection and your ability to connect there. So well done,
absolutely,
man.
That's cool. Like, I think my son Aiden would really love voice acting. You know, so maybe I'll have to like look into the school and see how much it costs, and see maybe put him in there over a summer or something.
Some cool equipment and
I mean, I have all the equipment he needs to do, you know, voiceover stuff. You know,
right.
For
and
the most part,
that is the interesting thing about those. You know, you just in business, you don't realize. When you're on the outside looking at someone else's business, you don't realize the intricacies. You know, I love everything that you do, the photography and your cleaning company now. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's what he does. But when you think there's like 25 things in a day that you're doing in all of those, you know, with all of these different hats. And it's no different with voiceovers. You know, voiceovers are, you are not just the actor, you are the producer and the editor.
Yeah, you're doing it all.
So you've got to go back, listen to all of it. You know, if there's a clap or like a snap, and you're like, oh no, I got to redo it. You know, so there's just a successful business. It's amazing how much additional time and back end activity that happens.
There is a lot, especially when it comes to producing videos and audio and stuff like that. I take a different approach to the podcast. I don't know if we've talked about this or not, but like I do very little editing when it comes to the podcast for a couple of reasons, right? I think it comes across as more authentic and genuine if I'm not taking out all the ums and ahs and things like that, right? Because it's just the way we talk. It's like, you know, people want to know who we are. You know, they don't need to think that we're perfect in the way we speak.
Sure.
The other one is it just saves time,
Mhm.
right? So I can adjust audio levels and, volumes and things like that, adjust where the episode starts and ends, but
Right.
not necessarily the content in the middle. I just want
Yeah.
our conversation to be out there so people can listen to it if they want,
Yep.
that kind of thing. And so
Couldn't
that's
agree
my
more.
approach to the podcast.
Well, I think it makes a lot of good sense.
Different than a lot of people do it, which is fine. I think everybody can do things the way they want, which is the best part about, technology these days and the internet and everything. Is you just get to do your own thing. People like it, they're going to listen to it. If they don't, they'll listen to somebody else, which is fine. Perfectly fine with me, so that kind of thing.
I love it, man. Well, you're doing a great job here. And again, this is an elongated intro here, but thank you for having me on the podcast.
Yeah,
man.
super happy. You know, I asked Rob today to wear his a soccer shirt.
Yes.
So he showed up in a Crystal Palace away shirt, which is cool.
Indeed, the 21-22 season.
Rob
Crystal
and I
Palace, absolutely.
kind of bonded over soccer, football,
Yes.
however you want to say it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's a big Palace supporter.
Yes.
So that's who he's supporting today. They're almost having like a dream back like 2 seasons.
Well,
now.
knock on wood. I heard a joke. A buddy of mine said, I think the ratings are out next year for the Premier League, and nobody's, there's like the top 11, and then there's like the bottom 13, and then Crystal Palace as well.
Palace, yeah.
It's just how it works with Palace.
That's funny.
But I don't care. It's a blast watching. I agree. I think we had a great season last season. Really got screwed out of additional European time, but we won't go too deep into that. This season, though, I think we've got a chip on our shoulder. We're playing with some grit, and we're top 6, Carl.
Yeah, you're number 5 in the table right now.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We are in the area where those colors are that mean that we get actual additional play time,
right?
If we stay there,
yeah, which is great.
It's fun.
The only downside is I saw a couple of days ago that Oliver Glasner says he's not going to renew at the end of the summer.
I mean,
which
I think that is a. It's difficult being in the middle. It's a middle market club.
Right.
And so and you just have to understand that coaches and even players, SA, who beat us when he was with Arsenal a couple of weeks ago, they're just, you're really lucky if you can get them to stay, but chances are you can't. And we just have to utilize that to the best
Palace
of our
is almost
ability.
like a stepping club to just a little bit something bigger in the Premier League. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Which is fine.
Sure.
There's a lot of clubs like that.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, look, we're in the Premier League. There are no real issues with relegation, and haven't been for several years, which hasn't always been the case.
Right.
So it's like, okay, let's build up. We'll build up, gain some additional money, get some additional, sponsorships, what have you. And I think, we make Europe, additional Europe ball, watch out, Carl. We may be top 10 every year.
You're sitting 5th place now. You're only 10 points back from Arsenal. The way the table sits now. I mean, that's
right. We'll take it.
It only
going
takes
into Boxing Day
them to drop a few games.
Sure.
And, you guys are right up there in, top 4, top 3.
And it's it's all about consistency, though. It's it's trying to stay healthy, which every club has difficulty with. 30 plus matches a year, and no different really than any other sport or even in business. Man, it's just about trying to be consistent, getting out of there without losing. Gaining a point, and
not getting hurt.
Yeah,
no injuries, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
and certainly shout out to our Lou City clubs, both Lou City and Racing.
I got my racing shirt on today.
Man, it's awesome.
This is my favorite one that they ever made. It's the houndstooth pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It's two shades of purple, or maybe a navy blue. It's hard to tell. But it's
I'll go with purple.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's the favorite shirt
it's badass
made so far.
I think we are very lucky in Louisville to have 2 clubs that are. I think supported in such a way by our community, but we're not so bad on the pitch either.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
we're playing some good ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you hate certainly on the men's for the first team, and we just have had a couple of unfortunate outings in the first the first time around in the playoffs.
Right,
but that's okay.
I mean, that's playoffs
right.
in general. I mean, that's the way playoffs go. So. It's a one-off game. Anything can happen in a one-off game. We're not doing a 2-legged series with aggregates or anything like that. But it's frustrating that Lou City has made it, top of, Supporter Shield 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And then doesn't even score a goal in the playoffs. And
We didn't even get one goal.
That's a frustrating thing. So kind of I've been a season ticket holder since the beginning for Lou City in 2015. And a little, I don't know if it's a funny story, but it's a story. I think the tickets went on sale in like the February timeframe for their first season.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought season tickets, 2 tickets, and I told my wife, hey, your Valentine's Day present this year is I got you season tickets to go watch Louisville City at Slugger Field.
With me.
So she's like, fantastic, And my wife's not a huge sports person or sports fan and that kind of stuff.
Hey,
but
you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. So she always remembers that one a little bit.
I love that. Yeah. Well, my wife's come to a couple of matches with me. Like you, I'm a season ticket holder. Not since 15. I love that you have been, and I went to so many games, so many matches down there at Louisville Slugger.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was just awful. Of course, compared to what we have now.
Right.
It's like I don't know. Are they playing over there?
Yeah, it's totally different.
Like I don't know. I don't see them. But yeah. Well, and again, we're just spoiled with. Not only, again, the supporters, but how good we are. And gosh, I mean, the facility and the additional movement around the facility finally.
Yeah,
that was a part of the agreement when they moved there that we would continue to develop. And so glad to see the housing complexes coming in and, put some additional eateries around, man. It's
any
great.
Development around that stadium's only going to benefit both clubs, I think.
Yes.
And just, give people a place to go before the match, after the match, that kind of thing. And I think it's just going to be a positive experience.
It's a community thing. And certainly with this new football team coming in, they're going to be having even additional and an entirely different supporter group,
right.
I believe.
Yep.
So, it's great for the community. We were talking before about my previous work with Metro government and community development and expanding and re-enhancing that downtown. I tell you, Carl, I am. It's a sore subject for me because we worked so hard. It was during Mayor Dave Armstrong's era, which was before merger. So he was the mayor before merger, and then Mayor Abramson came back in, and there was a lot of emphasis on redeveloping downtown. And so we're talking about the waterfront. We're all used to seeing the waterfront
right.
park and how beautiful that is. It wasn't always there, but that was that starting point. And they went to the Galleria and they were like, what can we do here? 4th Street Live, here we go. And, and the revitalization was so significant and continued east. Now we would have loved to see west as well, but east and kept going into Nulu and kept going down into the stadium area and then COVID.
Right.
And it just squashed. Now, there were other issues that impacted us in Louisville as well with the Breonna Taylor situation and, the riots and protests, what have you. But I'm hopeful that we see that development in and around the stadium and it's able to connect that dot again and expand because Nulu is just, wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
East Broadway area is great. But, the downtown, proper, I think is still struggling a little bit.
Yeah, it's a weird, compared to other downtowns, the way it just kind of closes at like 6 o'clock at night.
Right.
Other than 4th Street Live, like
right.
Starbucks is closed and like, everything just seems to just kind of shut down a little bit. And it's just
and
kind of a little weird thing.
The Yum Center, again, the idea behind the Yum Center, I was just fortunate to be a part of those beginning discussions and building out the contract with the city and the state and even some federal assistance with Councilman Jim King, who I worked for at the time. I was in on pretty much all of those meetings, didn't quite understand all the financing and bonds, what have you. But again, I mean, the purpose was to be that epic, location, concerts and other, whatever you could figure out, whatever was happening on a smaller scale at Freedom Hall,
right,
which was just an island, out in the middle of nowhere. You went to Freedom Hall and you got back and you're like, well, I guess I got to get in my car.
Now what? Yeah.
Let's go home. This doesn't make any sense.
In a big parking lot.
Fingers crossed again that our, and I think it's very relevant talking about this at 502 entrepreneurs and how important that local engagement, the local community, the local development of our small businesses, it makes everything else better.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
kudos to you for being a small business owner, and I'll pat myself on the back as well.
Very small business owner. In more ways than one. But yeah, so, let's just touch on that a little bit. Like, so you own and operate the insurance
artist. Yes.
So and that's quite the
fascinating world of insurance.
It's quite a different name, I guess, for most. You're an insurance broker, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes. Technically, no. That's
technically, no.
Yes, an insurance agency. Technically.
Okay.
But for all intents and purposes, yes, I'm a broker, meaning that I do things as people would expect a broker to do. When you see those commercials on TV for financial services and the Schwab stuff, I love those commercials, by the way. And the Schwab guy, you know what I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
Schwab commercials.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that is just old school, and he's like, go this way, and this is my way. His name, by the way.
What is it?
Carl.
Oh, there you go.
It's like, this is Carl's way.
Not
and he's actually, I think he's even got a podcast in one of the commercials, and it gets a lot of thumbs down
funny.
because they're talking about being independent, being able to shop all of these different things.
Right.
That's what I do. So yes, for all intents and purposes, that is our role. Now, most independent agencies, which is what I am, and I'll explain that difference there in a second, but most of those agencies just go by their last name because, again, it's all about that local personal connection.
Right.
And so, I didn't know any better. I started in the agency world after I left Metro Government in 2013, and I just opened up as Holtzmann Insurance. So I was like, I don't know. I'll just call myself Holtzmann Insurance. That's what everybody else is doing.
Right.
And so along the way, I'm very fortunate to partner with Highland Insurance and merged my agency with them and learned so much about how to really run a good insurance agency. And then in 2020, went back out on my own, completely independent as the insurance artist. And I chose that name because I wanted people to be able not only to affiliate with a true insurance brand, but I wanted them to have the kind of reaction that you just had, which is, I think in a business world, considered a pattern interrupter, right?
Sure.
But for me, it was more about like actually thinking about somebody saying the insurance artist, oh, that's cool. It gives perhaps someone the opportunity to smile. I know that sounds cliche and cheesy, but it's like, look, Carl, you and I have been friends long enough and we have talked enough business. You know how difficult the insurance world is.
Sure.
And that's on a normal day. The last 2 or 3 years in the insurance world has been a disaster.
I bet all your phone calls are
It is what is called a hard market, which means that there are lots of claims coming in and no insurance company is making any money. For every dollar they take in, they're putting out about $1.70. And the underwriting, therefore, gets really tough when the new business comes in because they're like, hey, we can't take on any more risk.
Right.
So it's more difficult to get. But even when you have it, the costs increase because, again, they're not making any money. They're not
making any money.
Now, one might say, well, what about all of the years before when they were making all kinds of money?
One might say that. And
one might be right.
I would say that.
One is right, Carl. Absolutely. Because, yes, and insurance companies, by their nature, are required to have those reserves anyway. So they're okay.
Yeah.
But it's not a good business model to continue to lose money year over year. And each state being regulated differently in insurance, it's more expensive in Kentucky than in Indiana or, others. And again, that's a whole other topic. But I think, getting back to the broker part, it's all about having the opportunity to protect a client over a carrier. The idea of saying, I really don't like the way that this happened with my carrier and my client, and I'm going to choose, without my client really even being aware yet, to shop that market and say, you know what, this makes better sense for my client, and then call my client, discuss, and say, look, this just makes sense. It holds the carrier accountable. In my business plan that I created for the insurance artists, I specifically said this is a two-way street activity here. I will not be spoken to. I will not be told, Rob, these are your numbers, these are your requirements. It is there are three ways to do things, Carl.
Right.
My way, and my way. Come on.
Yeah.
This has got to be a two-way street where we're able to share our feedback. We're able to say, no, we're not going to do business with you. And I've fired a couple of companies since starting. So it just helps keep our clients as our number one focus. And at the same time, gives us the opportunity to really spread the wealth and find additional clients and, make it a little bit easier to do business.
Yeah, you have both of my commercial policies.
Yes, thank you for those.
And every year when it's time to renew, I get an email from you and you say, the best option is this.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate because I didn't have to call you and say, can you see if there's a better option?
Right.
You did it for me. I know you already have my best interest in mind. And so I don't even have to think about asking any questions.
One of our
think
cultural,
you did it the right way.
Well, thank you. That's on purpose.
Yeah.
One of our cultural values is to focus on renewals. Because again, most people don't get that kind of service. Most people continue to get things in the mail and they're like, oh, another thing from State Farm, oh, another thing from Liberty. Yep, that's my stuff. That's my stuff. And their rate's going to change a little bit here and there. They don't really pay attention to homeowners insurance as much because it's usually escrowed. And so your mortgage is just going to take care of that and, raise your mortgage a little bit, but it takes some time to do that. So I really value the idea of openness and transparency. And so we share, and this is not you and I spend a lot of time talking about AI as well and how incredible in the impact it will have on our businesses. This is a very manual process within our agency.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where we certainly have a templated email, but putting in those numbers and figuring out the percentages and figuring out whether or not we should shop. And then certainly when we do, letting our client know and having to go through all those details. It's a full-time job. Literally, we have someone in our office that does that full-time with me. But, how important is that, Carl? Like, that's kind of our job to make sure that we have the best coverage for our clients, first and foremost, and the best rates for those coverages. That's our job. That's like everything that we do. And I think sometimes that just gets lost. Because of, again, I think some clients perhaps take advantage of it and I want to be shopped every month. Well, how about no?
Yeah.
Because another issue in insurance that not a lot of people talk about is the fact that when you become an insurance hopper, you're going to look like a bigger risk. And so you're not going to save as much money on your insurance.
Yeah.
So there's just, God forbid, Carl, there's an art to what we do.
Sure.
Right? And that's why we call ourselves the insurance artists. We're not playing off Bob Ross. The only other podcast I watch is Ashley Chamberlain. Shout out to Ashley. And I was on her podcast and had a wonderful time. And I specifically said that. I'll say it again here. Like, the insurance artist is not replicated by or any part of Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Like, I love Bob Ross. You know that. But no, this is an art. And it's incredibly important to care about what you do it the best that you can because it's a representation of who you are.
Sure. Absolutely.
I shared that with my son this week. Shout out to Jonah, Robbie, Hannah, Charlie, Rose, and my wife, Lauren.
The whole clan.
That's right. They may be the only 5 that watch this thing on my side,
right.
Carl.
Hey, we'll take the 5 views.
Right. Jonah's in finals this week, and we were talking about that. He's taking chemistry. He's a sophomore. I guess that's a normal thing now. It wasn't for me when I was at St. X. I think I was taking
I can't remember when I took chemistry.
Honestly, I feel like I was taking like earth science in senior year or something because I just don't have a very scientific mindset. But he was just really upset with himself for not doing as well or having focused on the grade, not the performance. Mm-hmm. So that's just, that's incredibly important, I think, to think about in life and in business and in everything we do. You just, do your best, put your best effort out there and make it your own.
I had that exact same conversation with my son in the car this morning on the way to school.
Nice.
Because he was talking.
Shout out to Aiden.
Yep, Aiden, Lisa, everybody who's listening. No, but like, I used to be in construction management for, 11 years or so with a really large general contractor that worked nationwide. It's how I ended up in Louisville. We did a project out in Gent, Kentucky. I lived here in Louisville and drove the hour back and forth, every day. And then I met my current wife, or my now wife. My first ex-wife.
We can edit.
Lisa, during that time, right?
Out to Lisa.
And, that's how I ended up in Louisville full time. She's from here. She didn't want to move away, which is fine. I like Louisville. It's great. But I was telling Aiden, the kind of the positions I used to hold within that company, superintendent, construction manager, that kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, I got some big shoes to fill then. And I said, no, you don't. I said, you don't have to live up to anything. You need to just do what you like to do.
Yeah.
What you need to find out what you like, and then you should do it.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
There's no shoes to fill, as your dad, and I say that because I followed my dad's exact footsteps, which is crazy. But I mean, I didn't feel like I had to. It just kind of worked out that way.
It's your choice. Heaven forbid you want to be similar to your dad.
Right.
That's kind of a check plus in the dad category.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm sure he's happy. Shout out, Dad. Right. But I went to the same university as him.
Yeah.
Got the same degree.
I didn't know that.
We even had the same professors.
Really?
Yeah, those guys were there that long.
That's cool.
So
that's and that's special.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy.
Especially again because it wasn't forced.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't forced, and I don't know. Like I really have a problem with. I don't know if I have a problem, but like when we're 18, 19, 20, it's really hard to know what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't declare a major till my junior year in college, and only because I had to. And I had already taken so much math and so much science that engineering just made sense.
Right.
So that's kind of how I ended up there. And it's like,
here we are. Got a big something.
That kind of thing. Right. Yeah. And it's like,
but I can't guarantee I'm going to do it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, and again, I think that hits on a larger point in, philosophies and how things go. I've been saying something for a lot more than I expected to say it. To my kids and to other people, and I guess now on a podcast, that comparison, and this is a quote I heard somewhere, who knows, comparison is the thief of joy.
Sure.
And I'm just like, gosh, that is so simple, but so relevant.
And I think
everything we do, Carl, is a comparison. How am I looking as opposed to other insurance agencies? Are my metrics where they should be as opposed to everybody else? Who gives a damn?
Yeah.
Is it working for you? Is it working for your family? Are you happy? Are you enjoying what you're doing? Like, what else do you need?
I think it's so hard for the kids these days.
Yeah.
Especially with social media. Because, social media is designed to be like a comparison thing.
Absolutely.
And it's designed to be the best of the best, and no one's showing the downsides.
And the more that they show that in your algorithm, the even more is going to come your way.
It's just so hard for the kids.
I agree.
I see it. We don't let our son currently have a phone or social media, which he hates. Right? We hear about it every day.
I bet.
But and it's him comparing himself to other kids now, right? Sure. Everybody has a phone and I don't, it's the same kind of thing, but it's like, there's so many studies nowadays coming out that, how bad social media is for kids and developing brain and things like that. And it's just like,
not just the content, but the speed of, and therefore the trigger of, I think ADHD is unfortunately just going to, it's just, and it's hard. It's kind of like a depression thing. Is it in your mind or is it like an occurrence situation? ADHD is like we've learned how to do that because we just constant flicking
all the time,
figuring out like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next?
And
you can pay attention.
I know how I am with my phone, and I'm terrible.
Oh,
right?
it's awful.
I'm horrible.
Right.
And
We are great examples.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, I'm the worst example. I'm not gonna I can't sugarcoat it. Right. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be the same way right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can stop it for a year or two, I'm going to.
Good for you. Yeah.
But
Australia, it is good to see some action taking place here and figuring out, wait a minute, these studies are coming out here. This is not a good thing for our young people. And I don't know if it was countrywide in Australia.
I think it was, yeah.
Where they're like, hey, no social media
16
until you're
under,
16, and I don't think any in school, which of course some of our communities are doing as well. I just couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's
keeping it on the
I have
fringe.
a little problem with the government telling you what to do as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
But I get like the spirit behind the law.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think like parents should have the freedom to parent their kids the way they want. I think
Yeah.
some kids probably can handle it at 15. I think some kids,
Mm-hmm.
the majority probably can't. So
What's
it's
interesting to that point is, when you think of things that the government does regulate and now makes sense, the age that you can start driving,
Yeah.
the age you can start smoking, and drinking. Well, maybe not. Oh yeah, smoking.
Yeah.
You can't buy cigarettes.
21 now, I think.
Is it 21?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Don't ever start that.
That's the
anyone
worst
watching.
one.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that those addictive things, all of a sudden, social media is it moving into that category?
It probably it's a very addictive
How
thing.
can it not?
Yeah.
How can it not?
It's a very addictive thing.
Keeping it on the fringe of your life so that you're up to date, and certainly in our businesses, there's just a certain amount of have to, but not allowing it to creep into everything you're doing. As we were talking, by the
Right.
way, I looked over here to find my phone.
And it's not there.
It's not there.
Yeah.
And I'm all of a sudden very uncomfortable, Carl.
How fun is it to have one conversation where your phone's not
Oh,
involved?
it's uncomfortable as
We
hell.
left them out in the lobby and things like that.
But
it's good. Yeah.
It's a reminder of how things used to
So.
be. Here I am as a boomer, I feel
Right.
like. But you could. I think again, just kind of wrapping up that conversation about with our kids. It's like control what you can control.
Yeah.
And some things again just unfortunately are outside of your control. But one thing that is available to you is that self-discipline of just putting that stuff away, man.
Yeah. And it's hard.
Yuck.
Especially as a business owner, maybe the insurance business is a little different than the photography business. I'm in real estate media, right? I do the listing photos, houses, videos, that kind of stuff. Real estate agents seem to have very little boundaries when it comes to your time. So they want to text me at 10 o'clock at night, Saturdays evenings, Sunday evenings, Sunday mornings, whatever it might be, I'm getting texts.
Right.
And so, for my first 3-4 years in business, I didn't have any boundaries.
Yeah.
I was
How can you?
I was tied to my phone. I'm like,
Sure.
I have to answer these people
Yes.
so I can get this work.
Yes.
I need to be out there working. The only way I can do that is to be tied to my phone.
Right.
And I think now that I've kind of a little bit more established, I've kind of have the same clients over and over again. I'm a little bit more able to kind of
Sure.
set those boundaries. So now my phone goes to do not disturb at 8:30 at night. So if any texts
Well,
that
that
come
makes
in,
sense why you
in
don't
that,
respond
that
to
evening,
my my random texts in the evening.
that kind of stuff. I just don't see them, and my wife will text me, and I don't see hers either. I have it set up where they just don't come through. But at the same time, as a business owner, you have to be available. You have to be on social media some, because nowadays, if you're not posting your stuff,
Right.
Nobody knows who you are or seen you. But
Right.
I've kind of combated that a little bit. And I think I told you this before, but I do have a virtual assistant. And she does all my posting for me.
Yeah.
So, I don't post on Facebook. I don't post on Instagram. I don't post, on LinkedIn. My virtual assistant does all that for me. It allows me to not get on those platforms
Right.
and get sucked into that
Right.
trap for 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, these time sucks.
And,
it's time vampires.
Yeah.
Really is what they just suck away your time.
But at the same time, I miss some messages because I'm just not on there,
Mhm.
as much,
Well, and as it relates to connections with your other colleagues, realtors, and those people that are calling you at all hours of the night. I think that would also comes back to comfortability. And you hit the nail on the head there. Like, now that you've been working with these people for several years, they don't call you at 10 p.m. Or
Right.
they don't text you at 9 on a Sunday morning or something.
Yeah.
And it's a respect thing, but more importantly, and I think this relates to any good business model, it comes down to additional communication. Same thing that we're really trying to do with our renewals program.
Yeah.
We certainly get calls after hours.
Sure.
We certainly get calls on Saturdays and Sundays, mostly either for car changes because someone's at a dealership and the dealer is telling them completely in the wrong fashion, by the way. Like, you do not have to have an auto ID card for the new vehicle you're purchasing.
You just have to have auto ID card.
Show them you have an auto ID card, which
Right.
proves you have insurance, and the car is automatically included when you purchase the car. It's like, so we get those, and then we also get claims calls, and that just comes with the territory. But I think when your customers and your clients have that kind of peace of mind where they know their call is either going to be returned, or heaven forbid, you proactively reach out to them with other things, they don't feel the need to call.
Yeah.
They don't feel that pull in the relationship any longer. So I think that's a big part of a solid business model. And, heaven forbid, it's just the right thing to do.
Yeah. How do you guys handle those weekend and after hours calls? What do you guys do?
They come to our phones. Shout out to Tammy and Aaron, who are just phenomenal and work very hard on the sales and the service side. If we get a call on the weekend and it's kind of an all hands on deck thing, where when one of us are available, we're messaging back and forth.
Okay.
Oh, yep, I got that call. Don't worry about it. Again, they're very rare.
Sure.
I still like to be really hands on with the claims issues. There's just no bigger time that you need your agent
Insurance guy,
than when a claim occurs. So when someone calls on the weekend, it's a pretty serious situation. Or insert eye roll, what seems to be every true catastrophic storm that we've had over the last several years.
Yeah.
The hailstorm that came in, the windstorm that came in just this last year. They always happen on a Friday night, Carl.
That's right, they do.
It's like we're finishing up a long week. I remember it was March 2 years ago, March 3rd of 2023. It was a Friday night, and they were predicting a big windstorm, but I was exhausted. It was just a long week. And I look out the window, and it was like I was in The Wizard of Oz. I looked out the window and a damn tree fell down.
Oh, man.
In the woods behind us. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yep.
So, there went the weekend. How about it happen on a Monday, a Monday afternoon? Mondays are bad anyway. Let's just have a windstorm then.
Yeah, it's like Tina and Doug were saying in our B&I group the other day, if your water heater is going to go out, it's going to happen on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
It's the same thing with the storms.
Murphy's Law, it's just, it happens. But again, that's our job. That's what we're there for. That's what we signed up for. It's not an extra thing when you're an insurance agent to answer your phone on the weekend in the event of a claim. That's again kind of your job.
That's the job. Yeah.
Yes, we didn't sign up for mortgages, for example. Even though they get a decent amount for pre-approval, working with realtors and things. But there's just others that are more in the box. We're just not,
right.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Although the good news is that people, for the most part, don't like talking about insurance.
Right.
And so just to call and say, hi, I have a question I'd like to go over page 2 of my details on my homeowner's policy and discuss the exclusions A through E, please. That doesn't happen.
No one's going to
at all.
Right.
As a matter of fact, my mentor told me, Rob, if anyone ever calls telling you they want to discuss the details of their policy, fire them. I was like, oh, I don't know, Don. But anyway, Don Keeling, great guy, and longtime insurance agent, good friend. It's just during the holidays is really nice actually to spend a little bit more time with the family because, again, not a whole lot of people are talking about insurance.
Right.
They're wanting to spend time with their family as they should. Again, if it's a really bad situation, we jump right in. But for the most part, it is a decently 8 to 5, 8 to 6-ish type job.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah. Well, and it gives us time to do other things in the name of the insurance artist. And I think, again, we were talking about beforehand about how important local businesses are, because local businesses are giving back to places. And I'm sure you feel the same, but the philanthropy and the activities that we're able to do, again, on behalf of the insurance artist during those extra hours is phenomenal. We're incredibly proud of of the donations that we make. This morning, I was just at an All Pro Dads meeting at Highland Hills Middle School. I started that chapter. It's a group started by Tony Dungy. Actually,
is it really?
Yes,
former football coach,
way back when. Yes,
yeah.
Colts, Tampa Bay, so on and so on. Just a really great guy. The idea is that we're bringing dads and other male role models into the school for a morning once a month, and we talk about different characteristics, good traits that the things that you should be learning about and participating in. This morning, it was a discussion on empathy. What empathy means. Now, it's primarily an elementary school program, so they usually just talk about things like listening, and reading and
gotcha.
Whatever. That's fine. Kindergartners, first graders, those folks. But we were in middle school. Again, it's the one that I created and we developed a program for, where we are able to talk about things that are relevant to middle schoolers, cyberbullying,
right.
social connections, and even social media, cyber. I mean, it's just really important stuff to do.
With All Pro Dads, does that program, do they give you the curriculum, or can you customize it how you want, or how's that set up?
I'm really proud of the All Pro Dads program, which is based, I believe, in Atlanta. I think they've also got a headquarters in Indianapolis. It, again, primarily was elementary. They had, again, a great program on the elementary side. But 6 years ago now, I started a middle school chapter and reached out to the All Pro Dad headquarters. I was like, hey, here's what we're doing. And we really don't have a curriculum built yet. We're kind of working through it. So I created my own, which, with the internet and all the different clips and films and things and, creativity. I mean, I really enjoyed putting those things together. We talked about, for example, like failing forward, and looked at all the different people in the world that have failed and how many times they failed and they were still able to be successful. Those types of things were fabulous. They have since built out a middle school program.
Good.
And expanded that nationally. They didn't ask me for any of my content. But that's okay.
They didn't come to you for any
Carl.
advice?
Yeah. But it's a great program. And again, I'm able to support that as the insurance artist. We provide, we donate food and some cash and some pizza cards.
And you guys also sponsor local teams, sports teams, and things like that as well?
We sure do. We're specifically with Floyd Central High School, we work with the soccer team, which Jonah, my son, also participates in, and a really big supporter there. But I think the largest of all of our philanthropic activities, if you want to call them, is with the Floyd Central Marching Band. Carl, I'm telling you, these marching band kids are just amazing. Do you have any experience with marching band? I
don't. So in middle school and high school, I played in the concert band. My school did not have a marching band.
Yeah.
So I have very little experience with that kind of stuff.
I wouldn't say it's rare, but it's not everywhere. I'm with you. I went to St. X. We didn't do any that kind of stuff. There was certainly plenty of jazz, curriculums and music theory, those types of things, but that larger marching band experience. These kids, we were just a quick story here. So the very first time that we went to a marching band meeting, where it was the introduction of Robbie, our oldest son, as a freshman coming in for marching band, and they said, okay, we got this big meeting, you got to come to it, it's mandatory, you got to sign off and say that you were here so you could, understand the importance of all the activities that we're doing. I'm like, all right, whatever. That day, which was in 2021, or mid-May of 2021, I believe we learned that Lauren has cancer that day. So ovarian cancer, 3C, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what's happening here. She's petrified. We go to this marching band meeting, Carl, and it's like 3 hours long.
Oh,
it's the
geez.
year after COVID, so we're all still wearing masks.
Right.
And all these people are at the front of the auditorium, and they're like, "We're excited. We're gonna go do this. We've got this year. We're going here, everywhere." And for the megaphone, sign up over here. And I looked at my wife, and because we were wearing masks, I was able to say this without worrying too much. I said, "Oh my God, Lauren, we're in hell. Like this is where the nerds go to die.
Yeah.
Like this is awful. Like I don't know. There were like 200 people in this auditorium. It was the most overwhelming thing I've ever really in recent years ever participated in. And I will work hard not to get emotional here because the next day we got a call from the trumpet leader of the trumpets in the program and said, "Hey, I heard, wow, we're really sorry. The trumpet community is here to support you." They were talking about coming to get Robbie so that we wouldn't have to bring him to all of the trainings and practices. Wow. They started a food thing for us. Carl, it was the most community-driven thing and has been that way since. It is just a fascinating group of people nationally that take so much pride and spend so much time ensuring these kids are getting a great experience. And the impact and the power of music. We talked about that earlier, but it's just it is so understandable why statistics, why all of these programs are created to show like when music is involved in your educational career in your path, you end up in a much better world as an adult. So I can't, obviously very supportive or very, and the insurance artist is very proud to participate in that group. We're a very small part of that group. It's 200 people, and that's a pretty small band.
Yeah.
There are some bands in Texas, 350 kids. Carmel and Avon up in Indianapolis are the two most powerful and impactful bands in the country. The big marching band stuff that happens every year, the Bands of America Grand National Championships are at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah.
So Indiana's kind of a mecca.
You guys are it.
And it's like, this is great. So I'm nerding out with the rest of them, I guess. And again, the fact that I've chosen to go this route in some sort of small business world means that I can support and participate in the things that are happening in our community.
Right.
And again, I know you feel the same, man. It's just so important.
Yeah, and it's important to support the community how you can, finding the right opportunities that kind of fit with your business and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, talking, with you and my friend Tony, his kid was in marching band as well.
That's right.
And those kids work extremely hard.
Yeah, they do.
And it's
it could be considered a sport.
I would almost think so.
Yeah.
I remember back to my band days, I didn't love it. I didn't, I wasn't like a big band nerd or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was there because, I don't know, I guess I just did it. But like if I had to learn the music and the marching part and all the steps and all that stuff, I probably would have bailed.
Right.
That kind of thing. I just did enough to get by.
They're doing that. Their calves are amazing, brother, because they're all like, the weird stepping that they're doing. And, again, and so many of these kids do things even more than marching band. Most of them are also, doing other sports like Jonah, who's playing soccer. And so they're all just busting their butts. And it's fun to watch. Again, I often say, like, I was on the prop crew this year, Carl. Props.
Yeah, props.
You want to talk about hard. Like, these things are heavy. And I'm helping putting these things together and taking them apart, putting them on a semi. We have a semi that goes with us to each of these competitions. It's just, it's phenomenal, the amount of activity that goes into these things. So big shout out to to band because, again, I believe it is a sport, but also shout out to all parents, all people that choose to participate in those things. There are so many grandparents that still show up that so many parents that still show up that don't have kids in the band
is that
anymore.
right?
Oh
They're
my
still there?
gosh. So anyway, there are lots of people that come up this year, especially doing props, and they're like, oh, this is a lot of work. Oh, there's a lot going on. And I'm like, and I agree with them because I'm tired. I pulled my back out for like 2 weeks, Carl. It was awful. But I tell them, I was like, there are worse places we could be. And there are worse places that our kids could be.
Absolutely.
So it's like, heaven forbid you have a really busy, active, participating role in your kids' lives when they are in such a phase of soaking up everything around them.
Mm-hmm.
So just, kudos to everybody who tries to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Very cool.
Yes.
You guys did pretty well this year, though, right? For all things considered, not being a big school.
Oh, the band, absolutely. We came in second in the state.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just phenomenal. So there are classes like in everything else in high school activities. The top class, first of all, the classes are decided upon based on your school enrollment. So we were always in the top of the top, but just barely. So we were a very small school with the Avons and the Carmels, for example, that did 300, 350 kids on the field. I mean, It's just amazing. And here we are with about 185 to 200. Huge band, but we look small. Last year, we came in 9th in the state in that division. We got bumped down to the 2nd division this year because, again, of school enrollment, and we came in 2nd in that division. Great. So it's just, and again, we're up at Lucas Oil, which is where those state finals are. So we're all on the field and, watching these kids perform. And, I mean, it's an entire industry.
It is. So
phenomenal.
I lived in New Orleans for like 3 years, 2.5, 3 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, Carnival Mardi Gras is like a month-long thing down there, right? They've got parades for, 3-4 weeks straight.
Multiple times a day.
Down in New Orleans. And I mean, by far, my favorite part of every parade is the marching bands.
Yes.
When they come through, because they're so good. I mean, they're just like, especially down in New Orleans, it's like, the music's a little bit different. It's not your traditional, like, marching band stuff that you might see on like a football field. It's a little bit more of.
They got some flair with those. Man, they can move those, the trombones and the tubas. Known as a tuba. It's fun to watch those guys move around.
Yeah, that was by far the best part of the parades.
And I've always enjoyed, even like the TV parades. I've always been a big Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade guy and all the, the Rose Bowl stuff. But it's added an additional element watching the marching bands and having seen some of those marching bands. I mean, how cool is it, Carl? I geeked out with Robbie, who was a trumpet for 4 years and is now in college. We went up to the finals of the Grand Nationals for Bands of America. So, again, national, the top 12 bands in the nation. And we went up there on a Saturday night where I'm taking my son, 18 years old, rolling up to Indy to watch marching bands. Yeah. Like, I didn't have that on my bingo card as a dad, Carl.
Yeah.
But it's just awesome. Find in this, again, this is no different than in business and in other areas as well. Find the commonalities. Figure out, especially with your kids, what are they into? What are they interested in? And what can you connect with them on in those areas without being stuffy?
Yeah.
You always just try to be on the outskirts, but like when you see those opportunities to really jump in and participate, man, take it.
Yeah.
The one thing, and you may do this better than I do, I think we may have chatted about this. The one thing I have not done well trying to connect with my kids is video games.
We don't.
I really struggle.
We don't connect on that at all.
I don't get any of it, Carl.
So, yeah.
I mean, this Roblox stuff, the what's the other thing they made a movie out of?
Minecraft, I think.
Minecraft. Yeah. I don't understand the purpose. Like,
I don't either.
I think they're just building things, and then maybe somebody can come in and burn it down or something. But like,
My wife and I, we don't understand video games either. Aiden wants to play video games nonstop.
Yeah.
He wants to watch YouTube nonstop. We tell him no a lot.
Yeah.
And it's the same reason as the phone, the social media thing, right? It's like, it's a development. It's like the whole, I don't know, just being addicted to things kind of thing. And it's just so easy to happen.
I do appreciate, with these headphones that they have now, I'm like, what's going on? And they're chatting with their dudes,
right?
So like Robbie was always talking with his best buddies. And I'm like, for us back in the day, it was, you could call their landline, see if they're home,
right?
Maybe page them. I don't know. But it is cool that they have that additional interaction with their buddies. But again, to your point, like most of the time, it's not just their buddies. There are other people online that you got to really be careful about.
Yeah, I read a story the other day. Yeah. I don't remember where, but saying, even on Roblox, I guess there's like online chatting and communities and stuff like that.
Right.
And
their own little messaging
there's
systems.
Like, they found a bunch of predators or something, and I think they got charged or something like that just on that platform. And it's like, it's like, man, how do we protect the kids,
right?
From that kind of stuff,
right. Well, and and in turn, we're trying to protect our society and trying to, protect our community. And, the bad actors, sometimes, unfortunately, they get in the way.
They're going to find a way too. It's like,
right.
You can only put in so many protections, and then someone's going to find a workman. And it's just like,
right.
It's tricky.
It is. It is.
Well, cool, Rob. Well, I really appreciate you being here.
Man, this has gone way faster.
Yeah.
And I feel like I didn't talk about the business at all, but I think we did.
We did. I think.
The point is
there anything else about the business you want to touch on?
I think the point is that, and again, I have a lot of respect for you, Carl. And again, I really appreciate you having me on. I love and have just been incredibly excited. After I got over the fear, I think Ashley and her podcast just kind of helped me. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to go out with Carl.
It's not
just
scary.
Fun.
It's
Well, when you're just chatting with your buddy, it's just like, okay, great. But that's, I think, the point here of what I try to do in my agency, and I'm sure what you try to do with your businesses, is you integrate them into your life. So the conversation that we have is not always just about the X's and O's of and the blocking and tackling of everyday insurance. I haven't, for once, talked about replacement cost, guaranteed replacement cost, collision, comprehensive coverage, rate lock with Erie. Yes, those are the things that we do well. But I think what we're most interested in is, in our own way, engaging with and connecting with our clients. And for me, it's that peace of mind that I'm able to offer, which is really no different than what I did in government. It's those trust relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's just part of our lives. So I've loved this because this is who we are, and it also is who we are in our businesses.
Yeah,
so,
I think we strive to be. So,
yes.
Where can people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you?
We are
or
socialed out, man.
Insurance with you, or however the case may be.
Yes, we're like dog shit. We're everywhere and we stink.
Yeah.
We're all over social media. Check us out on Facebook. That's where I again, as a boomer, I'm usually spending a lot more time on Facebook. But of course, that also means the Instagram stuff. Professionally, LinkedIn. Would love to chat with other professionals. I think one of the wisest things we can engage with and think about with regard to other professionals in our industry and in our other circles of influence is that none of us are competitors. We're all colleagues. There is enough business for everybody out there when we're doing it the right way.
Especially if you're a local business.
Yes.
I mean, we're in a town with 1 million people. And that doesn't even include Southern Indiana.
Right.
So it's like.
Right. So please, check me out, LinkedIn. I'd love to have conversations with folks and see how we can help build each other up. And again, social media and all that good stuff.
Awesome. Well, great. Rob, it was super fun. I'm glad we did it.
Carl. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Till next time.
All right. See ya.